Have you ever gone out on a night out, you see this girl, you think that she is the hottest girl that you have ever seen in your entire life. You go home with her, you sleep with her, but then you wake up next to her the next morning, you're like, oh my god, what have I done? She looks nothing like she did last night.
What have I done?
Well, this is because women are great at fraud maxing. So they can fraud their appearance to look way more attractive than they actually are. Let's say a girl is average, she's a 5 out of 10. They can look like they're a 7 or 8 on a night out, and you can do the exact same thing. Frauding has actually been around forever. Men were actually the ones to create frauding. We were the ones to create makeup. Men used to wear makeup all the time. Men created dresses, nail polish, all of these beauty standards that you think women created, men actually created. And so nowadays, men are kind of called gay. They're called this if they want to fraud their appearance. You can do it, man. It is super easy to boost how attractive you appear to other people. And the number one thing, you got to keep these a secret between you and me. Don't let anybody know that you are out here frauding. Now, don't lie about it if anybody directly asks you about it, but you can keep it a secret, man. Let's get it. There's going to be exactly 5 categories that I'm going to teach you how to fraud today. Number 1, height. Number 2, face. Number 3, frame. Number 4, hair. And number 5, your social media presence. Height. When it comes to height, you want to look a little bit taller than you actually are. There's a couple of options. Number 1 is shoe lifts, but don't go with shoe lifts that are too outrageously tall. I would go max like a 1.5 to a 2-inch boost in your shoes, and then this will add about 3 inches total, so you'll be looking pretty tall. So if you're 5'9" in public, you're gonna look 6 feet tall. Now with shoe lifts, the issue comes, what happens whenever you take off your shoes, blah blah blah. First of all, I never take off my shoes. I am indoors all day with my shoes on, even in Asia. I don't care about the tradition. I always have my shoes on. But if you're worried about this, I would do what I do, and this is going to be shoes with thick soles. So we have a couple of options, basically being number 1, the Air Forces. Number 2, any shoe kind of like this, like the dad shoe. This one's the Balenciaga, but the sole is 2 to 3 inches thick, so this makes me like 6'9" whenever I wear these. And the last option for height is going to be boots. These are just some Chelsea boots. I love boots. They look super badass, but these are some ways to easily fraud your height. But if you need help actually getting taller, go to kalosique.com and purchase Titan Growth 2.0, which has 500 to 1,000% of all your daily vitamins that you need. Now, 92% of Americans are vitamin deficient, and I believe this is one of the primary causes that most people don't reach their optimal height potential. Now, your height growth is actually 60 to 80% genetic, meaning 20 to 40% is how healthy you are, your environmental factors. So there is so much that you can change, and you can keep growing up until the age of about 25. So if you need help growing taller, you got to pick up Titan Growth 2.0 in addition to Aries Rage Testosterone Boost, just because this is scientifically proven to boost your testosterone by up to 37%, which directly correlates with HGH and will help you grow taller. With frame, we have a couple of options to make you look more aesthetic than you actually are. Maybe you're on your fitness journey, you're not quite there yet, but you want to look more aesthetic with clothes on. So number 1, you can copy the Koreans. Now, the Koreans have created shoulder pads. Now, we're not talking football shoulder pads like Kanye was wearing last year. We're talking about aesthetic shoulder pads. Now, these are very simple. They just go underneath your clothes. It's a very small little cushion right on your shoulders, and most people cannot tell that you have it on, but it's going to help if you wear a black shirt. Obviously, if you wear a white t-shirt, those shoulder pads can kind of be seen. In addition to the shoulder pads, we also have the male corsets. This one is very popular. I've not looked into it, but I'm pretty sure men also created this. Men used to wear corsets. So you can do the combination of these two, and it will attenuate your shoulder to waist ratio, which is going to make you look way more aesthetic. Fun fact of the day, did you know that women scientifically come much easier whenever a guy has a strong shoulder to waist ratio? It's one of the most powerful things you can possibly work on with yourself. So until you have that Adonis golden ratio where your shoulders are 1.61 times wider than the circumference of the waist, you can fraud it a little bit. This is the biggest one, guys. We got the face. How can you fraud the face? Number 1, go Clint Eastwood squint maxing. So anytime you're out in public, just ooh, but don't look autistic about it, man. Like, don't go crazy about it, but just subtly squint a a little bit more. This will naturally give you more of the hunter eye appearance. Up next, we have eyebrows. Now, I think every single man looks better with darker, more masculine eyebrows, and studies actually conclude this as well. So the best, easiest way to do this, everyone online, they're like, oh, put minoxidil, put all this bullshit on your eyebrows. The easiest thing, man, once a month, get some Just for Men beard dye and put it on your eyebrows for about 5 to 10 minutes. I like to go with the color black. I think the black and the blonde contrast looks freaking sick, but naturally my eyebrows are pretty much non-existent. As a natural dirty blonde, my eyebrows don't really pop much. In my opinion, this has made a very drastic aesthetic change with my face. You should do it too. There's something known as face tape, so essentially you can tape your face back if you have a lot of fat, if you have a lot of bloating, and it's going to make your face look a lot more chiseled. Now, when it comes to obviously people looking up close in your face, they might be able to see it, but on social media, or if people are at a distance, you're at a party, they can't really tell. If you have a nose that is sunken in, it looks very bad, you need a nose job. One thing that you can do until you actually get the nose job is nose inserts. So it's little inserts that go inside your nose, and once again, unless anyone's actually looking up your nose, most people won't really see it, but it's going to give your nose a more aesthetic look to it. This one, I believe actually every man should be doing, and it's going to be foundation. Now, foundation literally takes half a second to put on, man. It's just some cream, you rub it all over your face, and you can get a foundation with SPF 30, SPF 50 that also protects your skin from the sun so that you're not aging prematurely. But I think every man looks better with this. Pretty much it just smooths out your skin tone, get one that matches, and it just makes your skin look a lot more radiant, a lot more glowing. You're gonna look much better if you start using foundation. Once again, do not let anybody know you're out here using foundation. People will think you're weird. In addition to secrets that you will be keeping,
alright then, keep your secrets.
Eyelash curling. I think every single man should be curling their eyelashes. I personally don't, just because I don't really feel like it most of the time, but it's going to give your eyelash more of that pretty boy look. It's one of the S tier looks maxing tips. You just look a lot better looking whenever you curl your eyelashes. So literally just get a cheap $5 eyelash curler from Sephora and just pump them up for like 20-30 seconds each one. Boom, you're good to go. Brown eyes are rated the least attractive color that you can possibly have. If this offends you, I'm sorry. It's statistics, it's not me. But if you want to fraud your eye color, get colored lenses. Very simple. I would go with green, blue, or gray, the sexiest eye colors. Now, obviously, the last way to fraud your face is going to be with surgery. You can get some very subtle cosmetic surgeries, like you can get a non-invasive nose job, for example. You can get a chin implant to give you a stronger, more defined chin. You can get some jaw implants to give you that strong, chiseled jawline. These are a couple that I would suggest. Outside of this, I wouldn't mess with your face too much, unless you're like a sub 5 naturally, even at a low body fat, and God was not very kind to you, then you can go full reconstruction. Hair frauding, we got a couple options. Number one, you have a bad hairline. Maybe you're not necessarily receding, you just have a big forehead. It naturally matured on the temples, which after puberty is natural, by the way. Naturally, men mature around the temples. That does not mean that you're losing hair. Everyone on the internet now is on finasteride, getting transplants. So unless you have like a 16-year-old boy hairline, people think you're losing your hair. But if you're insecure about this, get a fringe haircut to cover up that forehead. Up next is going to be hair fibers. Now this is great if you're kind of losing hair sparsely all over the place. Your hair's more short. It's kind of like a buzz cut. It's kind of like the paint that the barbers use, and it gives you the appearance that your hair looks filled in. I hate to say it, but you can get a wig if you really don't want to get a hair transplant yet. Wigs nowadays are very, very good, actually. Most of them, they stay on your head for weeks. You can wash them. It's almost very similar to your real hair. And if you get a very good wig, most people cannot tell. But to me, if anybody can tell, like in the slightest, it's going to make you look very, very, very insecure. So I would almost rather be bald than get caught with a wig. And the last hair frauding is going to be SMP. So it's going to be scalp micropigmentation, which I don't really see anybody talking about. Essentially, if you're bald, you don't want to take finasteride, you don't want a hair transplant, but you still want to look like you have hair, you can get a hairline tattoo that actually looks pretty good. You just have to be aware it only lasts for about 5 to 7 years, so you'll have to get it redone every half a decade or so, but it actually looks pretty good if you get it done right. Last but not least, it's going to be social media frauding. So we have a couple of options. Number one, FaceApp. I never FaceApp my stuff, man. Never, ever, ever. But if you want some more matches on Tinder, I don't really see anything too wrong with just using a little bit of face app, or maybe you just want to look better on your social media. But like I said, I have some really good photos. I don't really want to face app them myself. What I do is angle frauding. So this isn't really frauding so much. It's just knowing your freaking angles, like knowing where you look the absolute best and capturing those angles and then putting them on social media, putting them on your dating profile, because this one will make you look a lot better looking than you really are. For example, my pictures on my social media look much better than me up close in front of the camera, just talking like an idiot on camera. I don't look as good on camera as I do in my photos because I know my angles, bro. So you got to know your angles if you want to look more attractive. So this is how to fraud your appearance to look a couple points more attractive. Like if you're a 5, you could do a little bit of frauding, look like a 7. Comment below what techniques you're currently using to fraud. Subscribe if you're new. I love you with all my heart. Peace.